Okay, so let's talk about 2025, because when it comes to India's green energy sector, it didn't just, grow, it absolutely exploded. We're going to break down a year of totally shattered records and just incredible acceleration. And this is all based on official government data. It really all kicks off with one just massive number: 44.5 gigawatts. Let that sink in for a second. That's the record-breaking amount of new renewable energy capacity that India added in just the first 11 months of 2025. I mean, to put that into perspective for you, that's more than the entire power capacity of a lot of countries, added in less than a single year. Just wild. So what did that massive addition actually do? Well, this. For the very first time in its history, over half, yep, more than 50% of India's total installed power capacity now comes from non-fossil fuel sources. We're talking about a genuine tipping point being crossed here. This is huge. And maybe the most stunning part of this whole story? Get this. This milestone, it wasn't even supposed to happen until 2030. India absolutely smashed its international climate commitment 5 years ahead of schedule. 5 years. All right, so let's really break this down because, these aren't just numbers on a page. They represent a fundamental shift in the energy landscape for the world's most populous nation. And this wasn't some kind of accident. Nope, it's the result of years of policy finally hitting its stride, all combined with rapidly falling tech costs and a huge, huge influx of investment. In this chart right here, it really shows that tipping point we were just talking about. For the first time ever, non-fossil fuels, coming in at over 51%, they aren't the alternative energy source anymore. They are now the majority of India's entire power capacity. That's a massive change in identity.
And this just perfectly illustrates the sheer speed of this change. The capacity that was added in 2025, it almost doubled the amount that was added in the same period just 1 year before in 2024. So we're not talking about gradual growth here. This is a full-on exponential leap.
So you might be wondering, what's the main engine driving all this incredible growth? Well, the answer is pretty clear. It is all about harnessing the power of the sun. By November of 2025, India's total installed solar capacity had surged past 132 gigawatts. And just to give you some context, the country actually blew past the landmark 100 gigawatt mark right at the beginning of the year and then just kept on building. This absolutely incredible expansion has propelled India straight into the top tier of solar players globally. It now ranks third in the world for installed solar power capacity. That really cements its position as a global green energy leader. But the strategy here goes way deeper than just putting up panels. The real underlying goal is about energy independence and economic strength. It's about creating an entire ecosystem for green technology, right there at home. And this is really where that idea of self-reliance comes into play. India's domestic manufacturing capacity for solar modules, it now stands at a massive 144 gigawatts per year. And let me be clear, that's a staggering 99% increase in just 1 year. Unbelievable. Now, okay, these huge national numbers are definitely impressive, but what's really cool is how they translate into a real, tangible impact on the lives of millions of people. We're talking everyone from folks in the city with urban rooftops to farmers out in remote agricultural fields. So there are two flagship programs really leading this charge. The first one is called PM Surya Ghar. It's all about putting solar panels on residential rooftops with the big goal of providing free electricity to households. And the progress here is just remarkable. In 2025 alone, this one scheme has already benefited over 1.8 million households. That's empowering citizens with their very own source of clean energy. Then there's the second program, PMKUSUM, and this one is a total game changer for agriculture. It basically has three core parts. First, it helps farmers set up small solar power plants on their own land. Second, it provides brand new standalone solar pumps. And third, it helps them solarize their existing grid-connected pump. And just look at the acceleration on this. Over 1.3 million agricultural pumps were installed or solarized in 2025. That's a 3 times increase from the previous year. It's securing water and energy for the nation's farmers in a huge way. But here's the thing. India's strategy isn't a one-trick pony. Not at all. While solar is clearly the star of the show, the country is also aggressively diversifying into other really critical clean energy sectors. Take wind power, for instance. It also had a massive year.
India added nearly 6 gigawatts of new wind capacity that pushed its total past the 50 gigawatt milestone. And this is so important because it provides a powerful, crucial balance to the energy grid, especially, when the sun isn't shining.
Now, looking to the future, India is placing a massive bet on something called green hydrogen. So what is that? Well, it's essentially a way to store and transport renewable energy. You're creating a clean fuel by using solar and wind power to split water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Pretty neat stuff. And the National Green Hydrogen Mission is already in full swing. In 2025, we saw incentives being awarded for large-scale production, and some really crucial pilot projects were launched in those hard-to-decarbonize sectors, like steel and heavy transport. And of course, it's all backed by significant R&D funding. So, after a truly landmark year, a year that saw records just completely shattered and goals met years ahead of time, what does the road ahead even look like? Well, the ambition has only gotten bigger. The next major target India is working towards is installing a whopping 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel energy capacity by the year 2030. And that leaves us with one final and I think really crucial question. When a nation of over 1.4 billion people pivots its entire energy system at this kind of scale and speed, well, it's not just a national story anymore, is it? The real question we have to ask is, how will this monumental shift reshape the entire global energy map and our collective fight against climate change?